Do you know why it's important to have credit for your business? Stay tuned and find out. There are so many misconceptions about business funding, business credit, business loans, and more. Let's talk about it. But first, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Tia Robertson. I am the host of this show and the founder of the Black Entrepreneurs Network. I appreciate you joining me for this episode. Now, this is the show that introduces you to a ton of entrepreneurs that you should know about. I make it my mission to help you save time. Sometimes you're not sure where to turn to or who to trust. So tune in to these episodes and we'll make sure to introduce you to those people. They're the ones that you should know about to help you grow and scale your business, and the ones that you should share within your community as well. In this week's episode, I'm super excited to introduce you to Lucy Taylor. She helps small business owners and entrepreneurs, and even prospective business owners, learn about business credit and the importance of why you need to have it. Now, of course, she offers a lot of other services as well, but that's one of the ones that I know you have a question about because I receive a ton of questions all the time. Take a listen to this video and learn all about her and why you should connect with her. Any questions that you have or feedback, be sure to post them in the show notes below. That's also where you'll find Lucy's information. Hello, everyone. I am super excited to introduce you to our entrepreneur this week, Miss Lucy Taylor. She is a business and personal credit coach, tax preparer, business consultant, business project manager, speaker, facilitator, and more. She
Yes.
is the owner of Kaiser Financial Solutions, LLC. Welcome, Lucy. How are you today?
Hi, Tia. I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. Well, you were a gracious and very knowledgeable speaker at one of the Black Entrepreneurs Network
Oh,
events earlier this year. So we knew we had to
thank you.
come in and feature you and let everyone know more about you and your services. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me again.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so before we get started learning more about you and Kaiser Financial Solutions LLC, tell us, like, why is business credit so important?
Tia, that's a good question. And business credit is so important. I'll just tell you a little background. So I come from the world of finance. Most recently working for a major bank, Wells Fargo. Prior to that, Bank of America. And I have my life insurance license. I worked in real estate property management. So the short of it is just working behind the scenes, whether it was real estate or working in a call center at a bank. I see how having that business credit can get you what you need so you don't have to keep running up the debt on your personal Chase card or personal Bank of America card. You know what I mean? Because, you
Yes,
know, the more you run up that debt, that personal credit score is dragging down. And what if you need to use your personal credit for something?
exactly. That makes a lot of sense. And that's something that I know I realized I didn't know. And a lot of people, I think, don't know that or think of it that way. So that definitely makes a lot of sense. So thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So we're going to find out more about you and your services. But before we do, let me ask you, um, how did you come up with the name of your company?
Well, actually, Kaiser is my maiden name.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm divorced now, so I was like, my ex-husband ain't getting the credit for this.
I know
But
that's right.
but no, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. But yeah, so that is it. And just paying homage to my family, because my
Okay.
mom, she used to make me read all the time. I used to hate it. But now I realize it was because of her making me read. We have the Charlotte Observer. I'm here in Charlotte. I'm sure you're familiar with that. So
Yeah,
she used to make me read her. My dad used to make me read the Charlotte Observer like at 4 years old.
that's
So
great.
Yeah. Not at 4, it wasn't, but
Yeah, I was gonna say not as a 4-year-old, but as a parent, I understand the logic. Yeah, I was
yeah,
just
we get it now, right?
yeah,
So yeah, just reading. So just making sure I read and was well versed. Shout out to my parents and just really wanting to pay homage to my mom and make her proud.
definitely. I love that. We don't give our families, enough credit. All
Hmm.
right, so tell us more about Kaiser Financial Solutions LLC. Why did you start the company? What services do you offer? And like, who's your target audience?
Okay, great questions. So I started the company just, my upbringing. I grew up on the rough side of the tracks, you know. So when you're exposed to poverty at a young age, you know, I run into a lot of my classmates and stuff from that grew up in my neighborhood. And some of them unfortunately are still in the same positions. But
Mm,
poverty affected me more. It's really traumatizing. That's why you see people with the lottery and they go wild as because you never had anything. Then on top of that, you were never taught how to manage, you know? So just
mhm,
growing up that way and seeing that when you don't have the proper education, whether it's academic or whether it's just picking up books and reading, and then on top of that education, you may not have the resources. It blocks you out from a lot of things.
mhm,
So I was always interested in finances because I went to school. If you grew up poor back in that time, they would bus you out to the affluent community.
mm,
So
mhm,
here I am
mhm, yeah,
you know, so here I am being exposed to another world that only existed to me on TV, but no, it's here. So I'm like, man, people live like this.
yeah,
Especially you lived in Charlotte. I'm sure you've
yep,
been out to the South Park area
exactly. It's nice.
and it's very nice. And you
Yeah,
see some of their lawns are as big as football fields.
exactly.
So just being aware of, wow, so this exists. So I just gravitated naturally towards things of finance and got into the banking world, and then I said, okay, this is how money really works. Yeah, it's
Mm,
cool to buy shoes, it's cool to buy purses, and every culture does this. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm talking about one culture. I work in finance. I see it all from all different demographics. So it doesn't matter. It's a mindset, not a skin tone.
exactly. Yeah, definitely,
You know?
definitely.
So
Yeah, that
that's
makes
it. Just really wanting to educate people and say, okay, guys, how about if we get our tax returns and instead of, paying up our rent for 6 months or taking, trips to Myrtle Beach, which Myrtle Beach really,
I know.
what I mean? Or doing things that aren't, producing. Let's do
Yeah,
something different.
that makes sense. Definitely, definitely, definitely makes sense. So on that note, what services do you offer to help the people that, that retain your services?
So the main service is credit coaching, and that's
Okay.
personal.
Okay.
So I don't like the term credit repair, Tia,
Okay.
because credit repair, in my experience, has been here, Lucy, fix my stuff, see you later, bye.
Yeah.
I didn't educate you, I didn't keep you encouraged, I
Hmm.
didn't check in to give you updates on your progress. So
Exactly.
I can fix your credit, but I have to fix that mindset. I
Hmm.
have to get you to see you're
Absolutely.
blowing money, DoorDash and way too much,
Yeah,
or whatever your
exactly.
vice is.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, credit
definitely.
coaching. And of course, the business credit building, helping
Okay.
clients build their business credit profile, getting people caught up on tax returns, filing current
Mm,
tax returns. Yeah, so
okay.
they can be in compliance. Student loan relief. So let's say someone's getting their paycheck, or excuse me, their paycheck garnished, or maybe they're
Hmm.
getting their tax refund taken. I help them get that student loan out of default so you can get your check,
Oh,
get your paycheck back, and so you can get your tax refund back.
okay. I'm sure a lot of people need that assistance.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah. And I know actually someone had asked me for your information because they hadn't filed taxes in a couple of years. So I'll definitely make sure to follow up and see if they reached out to you. So yeah. Okay. So actually, I'm gonna skip ahead to one of my questions because you kind of touched on it. So I wanted to get your input on this. Like there's so many I'm going to say people because I don't think all of them have established businesses.
Mhm.
And I'll kind of save my opinion on that. But there's so many there's so many people, and there are companies out there as well, but there are a lot of people, Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, that are like, hey, I offer you this guarantee, right? Something, and I won't go into all their different guarantees, but as they vary, but they're guarantees about credit, or they're guarantees about fixing credit, or they're guarantees about offering some sort of credit or some sort of like, PPP loan. Like there's a ton of
Mhm.
people that make these quote unquote guarantees. What do you think about, that I guess business model of offering a guarantee? I don't know if that's their way of kind of standing out, or whether, you
Yeah.
know, um, but what do you think of, some of those guarantees that you see people are offering to fix credit and or fix or offer money?
Well, I'll start with the fixing credit piece. Legally, and I tell my clients this legally, I cannot guarantee you that I'm going to get stuff removed, or I can't guarantee you that. Now, what I
Mhm,
can guarantee you is you will be more educated about credit, and your credit score, it can change.
mhm,
Notice I said can change, but because there are factors, and one of the factors is you doing the work. So if you
mhm,
come to me, Tia, wanting me to fix or improve your credit, you have to, number one, be coachable and do the things I tell you to do. Add the credit, get the secured card, do the self lender, pay your bills on time. Because I could be over here, getting stuff removed, medical bills, charge offs, which I do, get them removed. And I post this stuff on my page, the letters. But if you're paying bills late, you've
mhm,
already lost 50 to 100 points, because the biggest chunk, and I won't go so deep, but the biggest chunk of your credit score is payment history,
mhm.
35%. So by you making one 30-day late, you just dropped your score 50 to 100 points.
Wow.
But
See,
if
and
I
I
don't
think that,
educate you,
yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm sorry, no, you're fine. So if I don't educate you on what makes up a credit score, you're going to think I'm not doing my job, and then you'll be quick to label me or someone else as a scam.
Yeah. But I think you hit the nail right on the head, right? Like people really need to understand the things that make up their credit score and the impact that they have on their own credit score, right? Because like you said, you could fix something, you can take something off, or somebody could give them some money to pay things off, but or like a lottery or something. But if they don't understand, they're going to end up in that same cycle. So that is the key. So definitely, I kind of agree with you. To me, some of those guarantees just kind of seem spammy anyway. I'm just like, really, what
Yeah.
are you guaranteeing? Yeah.
Well, you can't, and
So
legally, because I've
yeah,
invested a lot in my education on credit. So
right.
legally, I can't do that. And I'm Better Business Bureau accredited, and I don't want to lose my
Yes.
accreditation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that means a lot. I know to me as a consumer, that means a lot to know that, I look for people that invest in their business, not just monetary, but just, read a book, take a class,
Yeah.
that means a lot. So that is great to know. So everybody out there, make sure you heard that. Lucy
Okay.
educates herself and she's BBB accredited. So, okay.
Yes.
All right. So, we talked a little bit about who and what inspired you to start your business. How has, excuse me, the mission of Kaiser Financial Solutions LLC changed, or has it, since you started operating your business? A lot of times we all think in our head, like, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to help, and we're going to take over the world. And then,
Right.
day one, day 30, we're like, oh, wait, this isn't the type of customer I'm getting, or what I'm
Right.
doing. So has your mission changed? If so, how?
It definitely has. When I first started out, many years ago, I mean, I wasn't in compliance. My
Okay.
business was running raggedy. I didn't have any standard operating procedures, SOPs. So my mission at first was just to fix credit. I just want to fix people's
Okay.
credit. But it's deeper than that. So now my approach is holistic. So what I mean by that is when I'm helping a client, I'll say, after they sign up with me, and we'll do our once a month credit catch ups. That's just where I update you, and I'll say, so how's your mental health around this time? What's going on? Are you okay? And my clients don't fight me on that. I thought I would get some pushback, like, girl, what you talking
Yeah.
about? You fixing my credit or you trying to be a Yala Van Zant? Which
Right.
one? But no,
Right.
my clients
Important.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of times they're either too embarrassed to talk to someone else or they don't have anyone else in their community or circle that they can talk to about their finances, about,
Mhm.
what's playing out. So my
Exactly.
mission statement has definitely changed and become more holistic.
I love that. That actually leads me again into one of my questions. How important is it for the people that retain your services and work with you to be open-minded, not just about the solutions and recommendations that you give, but that they're able to communicate with you, right? Communicate how they're thinking, how they're feeling, communicate their full
Yeah.
financial picture, not just kind of say, I'm gonna give her this one credit report and then forget there's two other ones.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
how important is it for them to understand that communication works both ways in order to receive a result?
Oh, it's day one, because to your point, I'm pulling all three. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
get your credit karma. We're going to get your Experian or whatever credit monitoring you're using, because you're paying me a lot of money.
Okay.
I'm not cheap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't want to give you cheap services.
Exactly.
I want to
Yeah.
give you, I want to over provide. So it's very important, because I tell my clients, this is why I have the software that updates you, gives you the emails, communicates with you so you can know what's going on. And then honestly, it falls back on the business owner. And Tia, I'm sure you can attest to this. When we're working with someone, whatever the scope is, we have to
Mhm.
be humble, and we have to ourselves be approachable, because especially when dealing with finances, it is
Mhm.
sensitive and private, and nobody wants me to make them feel stupid, use a bunch of jargon, because people
Right.
are afraid to sometimes ask, Lucy, what does that mean? So I'm just
Yeah.
going to break it down and give you the simplified version.
Love it. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people need, to talk to me where I am, right?
Correct.
Exactly, to build that rapport. That is very important. I totally understand and agree with that. Definitely. Okay. What does your average day look like as a business owner?
Oh man. So my average day, we were just talking about that calendar,
Mm-hmm.
because I
And
live by that that Google calendar, because I'll forget to cook dinner and I'm like, oh, my kids might want to
yeah.
eat, you know?
Right. Yeah.
They might.
But like, are we eating cereal? Like,
Right,
you get that knock, like, Mom, are you making dinner? And you're like, oh, what time is it? Yeah, I've been. I
right,
totally
right.
understand.
So yeah. Um, so what I first start out, of course, my prayer time.
Okay.
Prayer and breathing. I'll sit and
Love
I'll
it.
take my deep breaths and pray, because it's very important for me to be in tune. And this is just my faith, to be in line with what God is saying, what Jesus is saying, what the Holy Spirit is downloading, because I don't want to miss anything. Because what I've learned is we can be so busy trying to prove something to the people on Facebook, Instagram,
Mm,
that
yep.
you all outside your mandate. You all out. God
Exactly.
told you to be over here, but you
Mm-hmm.
trying to be over
Exactly.
there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing. And then the second thing, I take a look at my calendar. I'll go ahead and get started on some letters. I'll go to Eventbrite, look at what networking events are popping off in the city,
Okay.
because I have a goal of at least one networking event a week.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Yeah, that changed my life. And I actually signed a really good outsourcing contract today. And that came from networking. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we always have to have those multiple streams in our business.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
So I
yeah,
love
that's
that
what
you
my day.
touched on the fact of the importance of networking. But I'm sorry, go ahead. Go back to I
No,
didn't
you're
want to
fine.
interrupt your day. I did.
You're
Go ahead.
fine. So yeah, then I'll return phone calls. I'll
Okay.
go in telemarketer mode. You know,
Okay.
yeah, return calls from clients, or even follow up with clients that
Love
maybe
it.
had a consult but haven't quite, I haven't gained their trust yet. And
Exactly.
that's how it goes. So, and then I'll get
Yeah.
in mommy mode later on, and then I'll come back out of mommy mode later on at night, get some more letters out,
And get back to work.
and
And get
get
back
back
to work.
to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Yeah, and so I always like to remind everyone in our audience that, in these features, we want to know, you about the entrepreneur, the business owner, but we also want to know about you, the person, because there are a lot of people out there that they're thinking of starting a business or they're not really sure. Or there's some people that, kind of, let's keep it real. They're only on Instagram or they're only on Facebook and they see these people that make business seem like it's so easy and so wonderful. And they don't know that, you really do need to have a plan for your day, or you really need to have a marketing strategy, and especially one that includes things like networking. And the other one that you hit on, which is super important, which is following up. A lot of times, we feel like, oh, we met this person and they didn't buy my product or they didn't secure my service. But I'm like, yeah, because they don't know you. Like, you have to
Correct.
follow up and build a relationship. So that is so key. So thank you so much for highlighting all of those things. So when it comes to marketing strategy, which method has been the most effective for you? Or at least right now, which method are you finding is most effective to help you find those people that need your services?
Yeah, absolutely. The method that's working for me best right now, I would say social media.
Okay.
Yeah, and I find that when I go live, which I don't do often at all, but the times I have,
Yeah,
it's
they
giving
make
me
a
good
difference.
feedback. Because to your
Yeah.
point, Tia, people, everybody does credit.
Mhm.
Everybody does credit. Everybody's making T-shirts. Everybody's selling
You're
plates.
right.
You know,
It seems like it. Right.
yeah, seems like it. So they want to know, Lucy, what sets you apart from this next person?
Exactly.
Who are
Yeah.
you? Do you really know what you're
Mhm.
doing, or are you just Googling stuff and putting it up there? And that's
Exactly.
and that's why I always post my letters whenever my clients get something removed to let people know this isn't a scam. We're just using the
Mhm.
law. That's all
Yeah.
we're doing.
And that definitely, I know from my experience, following you on social media and getting to know you and having you present to our audience are things that set you apart. The fact that, you do believe in actually knowing the law,
It
right?
might help.
Exactly. Is a big one. Your honesty, your transparency, it is important to be, Better Business Bureau certified, and just, building a relationship and talking with people. So those things, and like you said, the lives just are like the cherry on top, right? Because now we can actually, see you and see your personality as well. What social media platforms are you on? So we can,
So
in case, we can look for you.
absolutely. So right now, Facebook, of course, Lucy Taylor or Kaiser Financial, and that's my personal and my business. IG Kaiser Financial, and LinkedIn as well under Lucy Taylor.
Okay, perfect. So we'll make sure that we share all of those usernames down in the show notes as well as your website so people can find you.
Thank
Of
you.
course, we always, yeah, you're welcome. We want to encourage everyone out there too to make sure that you connect with Lucy, follow her, like her, share her. All those things are free. So definitely connect with her on social media and get some of those helpful tips. Excuse me. So you mentioned a little bit earlier about a software tool that you use in your business. Do you have any other favorite tools or business hacks out there that you would recommend to our listeners?
Yes, and I'm going to say this, everyone. I don't care if you are a caterer, whatever business you have to have SOPs, standard
Absolutely.
operating procedures. And I
Hmm.
didn't have them in my
Okay.
business. And my bottom line showed it. My bank statement showed it.
Yep.
So you have to have your contracts in order. So, of course, I have my software for my credit repair clients. And then I have, of course, QuickBooks.
Okay.
You have to have QuickBooks, and it's intimidating to some people, but I'm telling you, it's just clicking and categorizing stuff. So easy,
Okay.
very inexpensive. Oops, excuse me.
Mhm.
And QuickBooks needs to cut me a check, actually.
You can be a
But
QuickBooks ambassador.
yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, because you got to know where your money is going, and then you got to keep your
Absolutely.
money separate.
Yeah, absolutely, which is another key one that I want everyone always to listen to. And
Yes,
QuickBooks has different versions. Like they have one specifically for people that are self-employed, right?
yeah, it's
As well as
very
like larger companies.
simple.
Okay, great,
15
great.
bucks a month, maybe less than
Okay,
that.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, I love QuickBooks. So thank you. Yes, definitely. And I know, again, kind of touching back to your tax preparing services, like when if someone has QuickBooks, it's super easy for them to like either send you the
Oh
information or
yes,
like it cuts down on all that paperwork and having to collect things,
fraud
right?
people. Because think
Okay.
about it, Tia. When someone hasn't filed taxes in years, 2018. You know how hard it is to jog somebody's memory back that far.
I can't remember from last year, last week.
Okay,
So yeah, 2018.
it's a mess. So yeah, that makes your preparer's job much easier. You can just download those reports in a PDF, shoot them on over, and you're done.
Okay, perfect. Love that. So yeah, we definitely make sure everybody gets that QuickBooks hack. And if they have questions, reach out to you about, QuickBooks. All
Yes.
right, perfect. So sometimes as an entrepreneur, we go through a ton of emotions. Sometimes I speak of we and I'm really meaning me, but I know it does this one.
It's not just
Every
you.
yeah, I was going to say, I know this one applies to everyone, right? So, some of those emotions are happy, sad, glad, but frustration, I know, is a major one sometimes. What motivates you to keep going and building Kaiser Financial Solutions LLC?
Well, Tia, the main thing that keeps me going is just knowing that I'm doing what God called me to do.
Oh, I love it.
That's just it because it goes back to that story that really touched me before I opened my business because I was afraid, like most people, like, oh, people are going to think I'm trying to do this and that, or they're going to talk about me, all the little silly stuff. Well,
Right.
I won't say we because some people, like, I don't care what people say, but, you
Most
know,
people are concerned about those people, though. That's,
yeah,
yeah, it's true.
you know how it is when you're trying to step outside the box and you look like
hmm
us, and there aren't many financial
Exactly.
people that look like us sometimes. But
Exactly.
it goes back to that story about the talents. When that master gave his
Mm-hmm.
servants talents, and one buried them, one just I think held on to it, and one invested it and
Mm-hmm.
grew it. And that just resonated with me. I'm like, man, God gave me all these talents. I know I'm better than sitting on somebody's job, 8 hours a day. Thank God for the corporate job, Don't
Yeah.
despise small beginnings. However, there was more in me. And this nudge to keep going and build this business wouldn't be there. So
Love
just
it.
doing what I'm called to do. Because when I get to them gates, I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant.
I know
That's
that's
it.
right. Yep, definitely. That is an amazing motivator. That definitely gets you. That'll motivate you, right? Because
Okay.
that's eternal life. Yes, I totally agree. Invest those talents. And that's an encouraging word, not just for me, but for people that are listening, because there are so many people that are intimidated. What if this happens? What if that happens? And I'm like, but if you don't try, all you have is the what ifs, right? So get out there and
That's
use the
it.
talent that God gave you.
And we only got one life.
Definitely. Yep, you might as well live it because it's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. So
It's not.
go out and live it. Um, okay. Knowing what you do, excuse me, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you first started your business?
Yeah, I would have gotten education right away. I
Okay.
would have sought out, real people who knew what they were doing, not just buying
Hmm.
a credit repair for dummies book
Yeah.
with a CD-ROM. Remember the CD-ROMs back in the day?
Look, y'all say we're telling our ages, but yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
they don't even make CD-ROMs in the computers
No,
anymore.
not at all, right? It's like we got all these CDs and can't use them. And if you like me, we
Okay.
still have the
Oh,
CDs, right?
yeah. See, get rid of them CDs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I totally understand. I mean, and like you said, when you touched on earlier with your mission, sometimes in our head, we're like, we just want to get this done. We just want to help people. But it is so important to get that education that goes along with it for several reasons. It helps build our skill set as well, but it helps us meet people where they are, talk to them, about some of the things that we may not have experienced. So I definitely, agree with you. And that's something I would probably do some, different as well with that
Yes.
educational piece. Yeah, definitely. And before I ask you our closing question, because this has been an amazing interview, so I hate to close, but
Awesome. Yeah. It was
yeah, definitely, this
fun.
has been so informative. Do you have any? upcoming promotions, events, content that we should know about or watch out for, we'd love to join your email list. You have an email list, I think.
Yeah, and that goes back to that
Yeah.
software, Constant Contact. I love them. You know.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can nurture
Great.
people when you do join, my email list. I'll give you tips on how to fix your credit yourself. Start
Yeah,
off small.
perfect. Okay, so we'll make sure that we link down below a link directly to subscribe. But for anyone that goes to your website, I'm sure I think there's a pop-up there as well,
Yeah,
right?
a
For people
landing
to subscribe.
page. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. I was just saying, yeah, I love webs when I go to websites and they, automatically lead me in, like, let me give you more information. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, here's my email. Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, one final question, and I always like to ask this for all of our features. Again, all of this is designed to help you, our audience, but um, there are so many people out there, particularly entrepreneurs of color, that are struggling and they don't necessarily have to. So, what piece of advice would you give either a prospective entrepreneur, particularly of color, or an existing entrepreneur just to help them out, like, or something that you wish they knew about
Mhm.
running a business, that when you kind of move around in your life, you're like, God, I wish I could tell this person that. What advice would you either give someone or you wish that they would, wish they knew?
Yeah, and it's going to be the same answer for both, but just two. The first one is stop trying to be everywhere. Stop trying to
Amen.
sell flat tummy tea this week and sell hair and you know.
Hmm.
So I'd say with that, the one thing is get with God.
Oh, I love it.
Get with God to find out what your purpose is, because it doesn't matter if you make $1 million doing something He didn't tell you to do. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
it just doesn't matter, because money,
Exactly.
stuff is stuff. But once you walk in your mandate, so get with Him and find out what
Mm,
your purpose is, and
love
that
it.
way you don't have to waste a lot of time. Because I have wasted a
Exactly.
lot of time and money and energy trying to dabble in stuff I had no business doing, and I wasn't even good at.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it. That is amazing advice. Like both pieces, definitely. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely. Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Lucy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's been
Oh,
fun.
you're welcome. This has been so informative. And of course, everyone out there, go find Lucy on social media. Go visit her
Yes.
website, subscribe to her newsletter, but also on social media, follow her, like her, engage with her content, reach out to her for questions, and absolutely to obtain her services. And most importantly, or just as important, I should say, share her with your community, because I
Yeah.
promise you there's someone in your community that needs something that she has and they just don't know who to ask. So help them by sharing her information.
Sometimes one of the toughest things about being an entrepreneur is not knowing where to go to get information. You need information that's timely and accurate. You need to know that someone else has used it and they're not going to make you just some empty promise or a guarantee. I'm so excited that now you have someone that is all of those things and more, and you can add her to your arsenal of information. Reach out to Lucy if you have any questions about her services, including business credit and the need to build it. But she has a full lineup of services that can help you start, grow, and scale your business. So connect with her today. She wants to hear from you. And if you feel as if you are not someone that can benefit from Lucy's service, don't be selfish. Definitely share information within your community, because I can guarantee you this: someone needs access to her and her information. Now, thank you again for watching this episode. As always, it's brought to you in partnership with Relationship Entertainment Television. Be sure to subscribe at the bottom right of your screen if you haven't already, and watch their full lineup of amazing, positive, and engaging television. While you're subscribing at the bottom, be sure to hit that bell so that way you're notified when new episodes of this show premiere every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And until next time, don't forget, be great.